Whoa. Good morning, everyone. I went so deep in that meditation. Please bear with me as I try to bring my mind back to actually say words. Wow. Wow, the energy is so powerful this morning. I'm feeling it. I hope you're feeling it. So, this morning, the subject of my talk this morning is metaphysics, exploring metaphysics. And really, my talk this morning is a really deep dive into the mystery of what animates life, what animates you, what animates your body, what animates this world. What's bringing all this snow this morning? And it's really a talk for the mystic in you. I'm really speaking to the mystic in you from the mystic in me this morning. And I'm speaking to the philosopher of life that you are, because I know that you are that. This unity movement, it's been described as metaphysical Christianity. It's quite different from traditional Christianity. Charles Fillmore was pretty bold for his time. He rewrote, or he reinterpreted the Bible. He wrote a metaphysical Bible. He called it the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. And it's based on metaphysical principles, quite different than you might get in traditional Christianity. So when I was a teenager, I was in Gainesville, Florida, and my mom started this spiritual center, and she called it Libre, Life in Balance Research and Education. And it was all about metaphysics. It was the study of metaphysics. It was the study of reality beyond our five senses. You know, it was the perception of reality, the greater reality than what we might perceive with our five senses. And it was so good for me to be exposed to all the things she brought to our center. You know, she had a lot of channeling and dowsing and just all kinds of really interesting things that opened my mind to an awareness beyond our five senses, an awareness of a greater reality than just what most people perceive and believe to be, reality. So the word metaphysics comes from the Greek word metaphysica, and that is defined as an idea or positive reality outside of human sense perception. Meta means a position behind, after, or beyond. I love that word the most, beyond. And physics means concerned with matter or energy, right? Physics, matter, or energy. So metaphysics is exploring what is behind or beyond matter. And so what's behind or beyond the physical or the material world or the seen world. You know, one of Michael Singer's songs that, I grew up singing with him when I was 15 years old. That's when I first heard it. That he had me record on his album Songs of the Untethered Soul was called Far, Far Beyond. And the lyrics went, far, far beyond me is a place that I have seen. Far, far beyond me in a land beyond your dreams. Far, far beyond is where I want to be. No, where I long to be. Far, far beyond is where I long to be. Far, far beyond, my beloved waits for me. My beloved waits for me. What is the beloved? What is the beloved? You tell me, what's the beloved? You could call it source of everything. Mother of all that is, you could call it spirit. In metaphysics, they call it the ultimate reality. Ultimate reality. The beloved. Source of all love, source of all knowledge. Ultimate reality is waiting for us to know it, to seek it, to become it. Ultimately, to become it. So, Michael Singer, he knew there was so much more to reality than what we normally perceive. And I was so drawn to him. I was so drawn to that knowing, because that knowing is in every one of us. Our soul knows. Our soul knows. We just need something to wake it up, right? So, Michael's chant, all of his chants, they're a prayer, they're an invocation to open to what is beyond our ordinary mind, beyond what we ordinarily perceive. So, metaphysics is a branch of philosophy that studies the fundamental nature of reality. And I'm guessing if you're listening to this talk, that you have a desire to know the greater reality. I know you do. Why would you be here if you didn't? There is a longing planted in our soul. It's planted there. I have felt it almost unbearably in this life at times. And it's what's made me grow, this longing, this question, who am I? What am I really? I am so much more than this body and mind. But what exactly is that? And there's more to reality. There's got to be. Rumi said it so well. Rumi said, your longing is my message to you. Your longing is my message to you. All your attempts to reach me are in reality my attempts to reach you. He's speaking from source. He's speaking from source. Your longing to reach me is my longing to reach you. It's the God within us calling us home, saying you're kind of lost in this world. You're kind of distracted. You're kind of caught up. Turn to the blissful stillness. There's so much more, and it is so blissful. It is so fulfilling. So the book that Unity uses, oh gosh, I think I brought it. I have it in a bag over here. I don't know if my cord reaches. Hang on, let me get it. Unity uses to teach metaphysics. So the book that Unity teaches 4 classes, SEE classes on metaphysics, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is the book, Heart-Centered Metaphysics. It's wonderful, highly recommended. And I recommend those C classes. Those are great. The very first principle in that book, that all the other metaphysical principles are based upon, is that there is an absolute reality and a relative reality. There's absolute reality and relative reality. Absolute reality is infinite. It is eternal. It is unbound by space and time. And relative reality is finite. It comes and goes. It has a beginning, middle, and end. Okay, I'm going to quiz you after this, Mike. Okay? Think about it. Everything in form has a beginning and end. My favorite season, spring, is coming. It is on its way. It'll be here last. But all the beauty of spring and the beauty of summer, when all the leaves unfurl and everything's green, by the end of fall, it's all on the ground becoming compost and mulch, right? It has a beginning and it has a middle and end. Our bodies have a lifespan. They are relative reality. Our bodies are temporal. Even stars, our sun, it's impermanent. It has a long life. It might seem infinite. It's 10 billion years or so, but still it will come to an end, and our Earth will come to an end. That the planets all have a beginning and an end. All form in existence comes out of ultimate reality into being, and then it eventually dissolves back into ultimate reality. And it becomes nothingness, but nothingness, I like no thingness. Nothingness is no thingness. In other words, it's actually not nothing the way we think of nothing. It's not a thing anymore. It's not a formed thing anymore. It's dissolved back into the all that is, the unformed. Are you with me? Oh, good. So, the mystics, Jesus, Buddha, Lao Tzu, Amma, they all sought to find absolute reality, and they found it And they wanted us to find it. And all their teachings are pointing us in the direction of discovering our true nature. They're all saying, don't get distracted by all these things in the world. It's all very distracting. But there is this other thing, this absolute reality, this eternal beingness. And, it's hard to talk about absolute reality. I love contemplating it, but it's beyond the ordinary mind. It's beyond, our ordinary mind's perception. I remember a song I wrote on Union, trust beyond the mind's perception. Oh, if I could tell you that love is true. Like there's just something greater than we are able to conceive of. But, it's better if you sing about it. It's better if you put it in the poetry, right? Because somehow the magic of music, the God in us can't resist a beautiful melody. and also there's something about prose that takes us beyond the mind. It takes us into that soul's knowing. So back in 1991, I was living at Brighton Bush. I was leading meditation every day, and I had a very profound spiritual awakening, and it just changed my whole life. Gosh, if you listen to my music before and after, there was a big change. And what happened was I was in meditation with my partner, just him and I in the temple, and I went so deep in that meditation that my mind stopped. I had no thoughts. There were no thoughts. And I just was absorbed in this vast immensity of blissful stillness. And I lost sense of any identity with body or mind. That's what happens when you're not thinking at all. And it went on for about 8 hours. I was in timelessness, but I felt myself to be infinity. I felt like I just am going out and out and out, and there is no end, and I am that. And that vast infinity had the quality of love and bliss. And so, gosh, my partner wasn't quite in that state, and bless his heart for staying with me for 8 hours. And when I came out, we were still there in the temple. And it just, it just changed my life dramatically. And I think we all get these blessings of mystical experiences, and then we need to find our way back to that and stabilize in that. And I was just so different for quite a while, and for about a month, I couldn't even use the word me or my or mine, because I didn't feel like a separate being. And I felt like, yeah, this body's here, but I'm, it's a drop of water in the ocean of that which I am. And so I really rested in that, that ultimate reality for a while. I wrote that song sometime after, though, Miracle of Grace. By some miracle of grace you came, on a night one waits 1,000,000 lives for. You came. And you opened me like a flower waiting to bloom, and you filled my mind with illumination, and you took away separation. And you showed me you in the river, and you showed me you in the sea, and you showed me you in sleeping humanity by some miracle of grace. So life-changing it was to rest so fully in the ultimate reality. But here's what's funny, even in the song, I'm starting to say you and me, by some miracle of grace, you came and took me into, this experience. And therein lies the challenge. How do we stay awake in that highest state of consciousness? We might touch it, we might taste it for a moment or for a day or for a month, but how do we stay in it? When we're fully identified with ultimate reality, we feel ourselves as inseparable being. But as soon as we talk about me and you, we're back in relative reality. Are you with me? Is that making sense? Yeah. And I believe we're all in general in this stage of evolution where we're waking up. Everybody's waking up. It's not just Jesus anymore, or just Buddha. It's like all these people are waking up. Eckhart Tolle says that. And we're in this vacillating from ultimate reality to relative reality, falling back into identifying with a separate self. And, I think if we even have just a taste of the self of us, the eternal being of us, we become more free of fear. You know why? Why do we become more free of fear? Because we know nothing is ever really lost. That's why. We know nothing is lost. We don't, when we don't know our true nature, we fear a lot more because we fear death and we fear loss, and we only know relative reality. The people that are the most fearful in this world, they only know the relative reality. We can have a lot of compassion for that, right? We need to have a lot of compassion for that. Rumi describes it once again better than I can say it. He says, you think of yourself as a citizen of the universe. You think you belong to this world of dust and matter. Out of this dust, you've created a personal image and have forgotten about the essence of your true origin. Another song I wrote, wake me up, Lord, from this sleepy state I'm in. Let me rise to the heights of love. Let the pain of separation dissolve without a trace. Oh Lord, by your grace, let me feel myself, feel the glory of being awake. Awake, awake, awake. So when Mickey, when he was invoking far, far beyond, he was invoking remembrance, because that's where we're at now. It's like every moment of mindful awakeness is another moment where we're remembering our true self, and in just a moment of a meditation like that, we can feel ourselves as the animating energy, as the ultimate reality. And it's so freeing, it dissolves fear. It brings joy, it brings awe, it brings beauty. So Charles Filmer, he loved that inscription above the Temple of Apollo, know thyself. Know thyself. He said we should inscribe that in our own temple over the door of our mind. Know thyself. Know thy undying eternal self. And the Fillmores reiterated the teaching from Jesus that the way to know thyself is through silence, is through blissful stillness. And they meditated on that mantra, be still and know I am. That the I am is the doorway. That's the doorway from relative reality to ultimate reality. The I am is the one name for God in the Bible, the only name for God in the Bible. I am, that is the name. And in Fillmore's Metaphysical Bible, he wrote that the definition of the I am is the indwelling Lord of life, love, wisdom, and all the ideas eternally in divine mind. And I really love that part, that the I am is all the ideas eternally in divine mind, because whatever you add to I am, that's an idea that comes into form, right? You add something to the I am. And it's almost like the eternally divine mind has all these ideas that we can receive in the stillness, and we can add to the I am and create. So when I say I am, I'm just being, but when I add something, I am Kathy Zavada, all of a sudden I'm form, and I'm this separate entity, and I have a mind and a personality. Does that make sense? One of my favorite books is I Am That by Nisargadatta. He's a yogi from India. And he encourages meditating on the I am. He says, hold on to the I am to the exclusion of everything else. The I am in movement creates the world. The I am at peace becomes the absolute. That is what I'd like you to remember. If you remember nothing from this talk, remember, the I am at peace becomes the absolute. That is truth. That is deep truth. The I am unmoving, at peace, becomes the absolute. Nisargadatta is using that term absolute reality, right? So our spiritual progress, it really depends on us resting in the silence, in the I am. You could interchangeably use I am and silence. when we rest in silence, we become the absolute. We can merge with that. We are unlimited being. And then from there, we can bring that unlimited consciousness into form and create by adding something to the I am. So give me the most powerful creative words that you can add to the I am. Tell me one thing you can add to the I am that's powerful. I am sovereign. So be it. I am free. I am whole. I am light. I am intuitive. Oh, I've got chills. I'm feeling it. I am love. We are creating it. Every single person. Let me hear from you. Enthusiastic. I am enthusiastic. I am faithful. Beautiful. I am hopeful. Yes. I am love. I am caring. Beautiful. I am the light of the world. I am as God created me. I am healed and whole. I am free and unlimited. Thank you, Karen. I am kindness. I am powerfully creative. I am abundant. Unity is abundant. I am playful. I am happy. I am pure joy. What? I am. I am that I am. That's right. And see, from the I am that we have been so drinking deeply of this morning, we add these things and we create them. That's why I've got chills, because we're in a powerful mode. And that's the thing. We connect to the absolute. And then we come in with all this unlimited energy and we create in this relative realm. So, metaphysics is a vast field of study, and that is the core principle. And then, what follows that core principle so beautifully is that we use the power of the I am, we use the power of the word, a very mystical teaching from Jesus, the power of the word. And we create reality with it. And that is probably the second most important principle in unity, the power of the word, the affirmations and the denials, right? The filmers talked a lot about the power of the word. Myrtle wrote, "Know that the word of God is in your mouth and in your heart. Rejoice that this is true and speak the words of truth with joy and power and love. Expect your words spoken and sung to bring results. Weed out all destructive and negative thoughts, and words and tones." I love that. Weed out those negative tones. Would that be like heavy metal? I don't know. Sorry, metal fans. Everything that we sing here is affirming. Love is the opening door. I am so blessed. Let me be peace on earth, And, Jesus gave us some really powerful affirmations. I am the light of the world. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the good shepherd. I and the Father are one, right? He also gave us denials. And do you remember what maybe the most powerful denial he offered? Anybody? Get thee behind me, Satan, or you could say doubt and fear and negativity. And what was happening, if you read that passage in the Bible, is he was in this deep meditation, receiving this download, receiving this guidance of his Dharma, and all of a sudden that selfish kind of thought creeped in and said, hey, you know what, forget about all this kingdom of God stuff. You could rule the world, you could have all kinds of earthly power, worldly power, and that's when he said, get thee behind me, negative thinking, limited thinking. I'm sticking to my Dharma, get in the back seat, oh consciousness of limited self. You're not driving this car. Right? The driver of this life is ultimate reality. is unlimited consciousness. So when we feel doubts disturbing our mind, we can use a similar denial. Here I've got one that I rhyme. Doubt and fear shall not abide here. Wow. I like that. Doubt and fear shall not abide here. And when you use a denial, you want to immediately add an affirmation. I let the life-giving voice of spirit guide my life and fill my heart and lead me. So in the revealing word, I just want to mention that Satan is defined as a state of consciousness adverse to the divine good. That unity does not believe in any kind of personal devil, right? But that there is a part of our human nature that tends towards negativity, and we can work with that. We can work with that. And say, get thee behind me, negativity. And that's an effective way that we withdraw energy from the negativity. We just withdraw it and it shrivels up into nothingness. So there are 33 chapters in heart-centered metaphysics, and for today I just chose these two principles. I love these two principles. I could talk about them every Sunday. I think they're just so key in how we live life, right? And how we connect to spirit. So I hope, in closing, I hope you'll take some time to meditate this week on the I am. You can just breathe in I and breathe out am. Just use that as a mantra. Silently breathe in saying I, and exhale saying am. And then you just drop the mantra and you just rest in feeling I am. You don't add anything to it, everything's included. And from there, when we rest in that consciousness, we are so powerfully creative, using that second principle of the word. We can use affirmations. Here's one. I am creating love and beauty wherever I go. Would you repeat? I am creating love and beauty wherever I am. So let that be your intention this week, and use the power of denial. Doubt, fear, and negativity have no power. I let the light I am shine. I allow the joy I am to flow. And love is in my heart today, and all is well. So be it, and so it is. Thank you all. Love you all.